Okay, so what we need to do is that what is the difference between the two kind of relationships, that is, what are statistical relationships, your statistical relationships, and how exactly are these different from what you call as deterministic relationships. Okay, so how exactly are these different from what you call as deterministic relationships? Clear? Well, as far as statistical relationships are concerned, they are much more related with in statistical relationships there is always the presence of the random or what you call as stochastic variables. Okay, say for example there is a level of education which needs to be attained. Okay, now the level of education which you attain, it is dependent upon the school, the proximity of school, the parents' education, awareness, etc. Okay, but all of these terms, they are random. Okay, there might be some room of error in them. While on the other hand, the kind of relationships which are deterministic, okay, which are given by the relationships in science, okay, say your Newton's law of motion, Newton's law of gravity, molecule of water, okay, all of these, they are not random and they are not stochastic. Okay, they are not random and they are not stochastic. Clear? So let me give you one example, okay, for statistical relationship, that is the education level which is attained by an individual eye. Okay, it will depend upon definitely the proximity of school. Clear? It will depend upon, of course, the proximity of school. It will also depend upon the level of parental education. Okay, your parents' education, and there would be some level of awareness also which would be there. Okay, that is awareness about education in your surroundings. Okay, there might be other host of factors also which might affect the level of education of individual I, his own self motivation, etc. But remember this, that all of these, they are certainly important. Okay, but they will not be able, okay, to exactly predict the level of education of individual I, even if taken together. Okay, there will always be certainly some room of error which would be there. Okay, that is, even if you take all of them together, there ought to be some room of error which is always present in predicting the level of education for an individual I. Okay, so whatever you take, you might even take other 100 factors also affecting the level of education for individual I, but even then you might not be able to predict with certainty, with taking all of these factors jointly, that what is the level of education for individual I. So the problem is, that is, you can't be fully explained. Okay, it cannot be fully explained by these factors, or even the host of other factors, in case if you take them into account, they cannot be fully explained at all. Okay, so this is the statistical relationship. This is actually showing the presence of random or stochastic variables. While H2O, okay, so it will always make water, while 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen will make a molecule of water. Okay, so other example, other example could be, for example, Newton's law of gravity. It could be Newton's law of motion, etc. All of these examples in science, they are actually telling you about the deterministic relationship. There is no room for error whatsoever. There is absolutely no room for error. That is, it will always make say H2 will always make water. Okay, there is absolutely no error which is involved. Other example could be your Newton's law of gravity. Other example could be Newton's law of motion. Okay, so all of these examples actually what they are actually telling you about is that there is absolutely no room for error in case of deterministic relationship. They will always predict with certainty what should be an outcome. Okay, so there is no room for errors in case of deterministic relationships. So I hope that this has given some knowledge about how exactly statistical and deterministic relationship differs from each other. Thank you.